Show me the money. I need to feel you, Jerry. Show me the money. Jerry, you better yell. Show me the money. Show me the money.
All right, so we're back with another episode of Out of State. It feels kind of weird today. We're Show Me the Spread Friday. We're used to Mike being here. We're even recording a little late. Mike inducted into the Prep Hall of Fame Young Alumni Award. I think he's in the Hall of Fame. Maybe he's not in the Hall of Fame, but he got a Young Alumni Award. He's also like the Young Alumni Director, so it's a little weird there. I'm not sure if he gave himself the award or if he really earned it, but all jokes aside, Mike works crazy hard for Prep. It's awesome to see that he was honored, and maybe it's good because he has not been honoring us with the best of picks lately. 1-2 again last week. He's finding a hard time picking against the spread. His one win last week was Tom Brady over in touchdowns, which hit pretty quickly, but the spread has been fading him and failing him. Same as it has for me. The spread has not been great to me. I went 1-2 last week. Key game was wrong. Teaser lost on a bullshit Mike Glennon pick 6 with 3 minutes left. I was watching the game with my cousin. I basically called it. I just saw it happening. I just saw the luck I had. The way the Panthers blew the game against Philly. Nothing was going in my favor. And yeah, basically I got screwed on that teaser. Should be 5-0 on teasers. But we're here to rally. We're here to bounce back. And I'm going to start it off with my first key pick this week. And I'm going to go the Cleveland Browns money line against the Cardinals. The game is in Cleveland. Cleveland has the best rushing attack in football. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt have been unstoppable. OBJ is back. He needs to get more targets. Only got 3 last week. Dan Orlovsky made a big point that he's going to start creating hell if he doesn't get the ball, which he should. Jarvis Landry's out. He is by far their best receiver. Yes, they have Donovan Peoples-Jones and Rashad Higgins, but the go-to guy should be OBJ. But their bread and butter is that run game. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt have looked great all season. They're amassing over, I think it's like 187 yards a game on the ground, 12 more than the nearest team. Arizona, on the other hand, is 31st in rush yards allowed. The Browns are also 3rd in time of possession. So this just feels like a game that the Cardinals are due to lose. If they would have faced Jimmy G last week, I think they would have lost to San Francisco. You can tell Trey Lance is still very, very raw. So give me the Browns money line, and I'm going to go ahead and parlay that with the Rams money line. They're taking on the Giants, who might have Daniel Jones back, who had a terrible concussion. Barkley is out. The Giants are just in disarray. Even though it's a team that played hard, fuck them. They cost me my teaser. But there was a point in that game when I'm like, Mike Glennon, Devontae Booker. Like, I couldn't even identify the guys on the field. I forgot Mike Glennon was even still in the NFL. And I'm still even more shocked that the Bears once gave him a $50 million contract, even though I think only a third or half of that was guaranteed. But give me the Browns, give me the Rams, parlay that. You're going to get -110. That is my first pick for my key picks. My second pick on my key picks. I've never done this, but I am double dipping. I am going to go Rams -6.5. The line has gone all the way down to 8. So the -6.5 is at -150. And I am going to parlay that with Saturday. Alabama double result, half and game. It's -330. You put that together, it's +110. Alabama obviously losing to Texas A&M last week, which nobody saw coming. Not even Jimbo Fisher thought his team could beat the Rolling Tide. So Alabama's going to come out firing. They are going to destroy Mississippi State. I'm just going to throw them in there to lower my odds on Rams -6.5 so I can get that touchdown. The line's open at 9.5. So I guess it's because Daniel Jones is leaning towards playing. I still think the Rams are going to demolish that offensive line. I expect them to get pressure on Daniel Jones. Now you take away Barkley. Booker isn't the same level of runner, even though Barkley hasn't been setting the world on fire. I just think the Rams are the much better team. Some fun facts. The Rams 9-6 against the spread their last 15 times as road favorites. The Giants are 0-15. This is a random fucking stat, but they are 0-15 against the spread their last 15 home games when the visiting team is traveling 1,500 miles. That is so specific, but is so terrible. They're 0-15. So until they break that trend, why would I stop taking it? So I'm going to jump on that. I am going to go Rams -6.5. Give me Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, eating them up. The Rams might be one of the top 3 teams in football. I think we see the good times roll. They get the extra time because they played back on Thursday, so they have extra rest coming into this game. I don't think the travel matters, and clearly the Giants play worse against teams coming from the West Coast. 0-15 against the spread their last 15 times at home, facing a team traveling over 1,500 miles. That's just a crazy stat. That is my second pick. My third pick, I'm going back to, I'm going to put it this way, Carolina Panthers, right here. You can see it on my wall. I am going to take them against the Vikings. The line has gone all the way up to +2.5. The Panthers were favored by 1 when the line opened. Yes, CMC is a game-time decision, so it's 50-50. But the Vikings haven't done anything this year to show me that they're good. They're, what's the number right now? 2-10 against the spread in their last 12. They should have lost to Detroit. Thank God they didn't. I stayed alive in Survivor. Staying alive. That's what Survivor's all about. You got to squeak out those wins. The Lions keep trying to defeat me in Survivor because I also had the Ravens game way back in 100 different parlays. The Lions only screw me when I take them. So I'm avoiding taking the Lions in anything until something changes with Dan Campbell. I saw him crying. I sympathize with the guy. They've had so many games they should have, could have, almost won, but they can't really pull it together. The Panthers, on the other hand, Sam Darnold is looking more like Jet Sam Darnold. He has been an absolute turnover machine. He needs to get that together, but we still have the best defense in terms of points allowed per game. We're top 3 in terms of yards allowed per game. So you give me those 2 things together. I might have said that opposite. 3rd in points allowed per game. 1st in yards allowed per game. The only reason we lose to Philly, and I say we because I'm part of the Panthers, is because of that blocked punt and 3 atrocious interceptions by Sam Darnold. Hopefully he watched some film. They're able to get him going. The glare is now in my face. Maybe it's because I took the Panthers, and that is a way for it to shine down on me that the Panthers will be victorious in this game. So we are now at the game of the week. We have the LA Chargers, who have now dropped to +2.5, traveling to Baltimore. Baltimore, huge comeback Monday night. The only key pick I had right last week, which was the Colts at +7.5. They covered that easily. Game probably shouldn't have even got into overtime, but an unbelievable performance by Lamar Jackson throwing the ball. Surprisingly, no rushing touchdowns, 4 passing. Big day for Mark Andrews. Huge game. Shout out to his grandmother, I think, had passed away earlier that week, and he really balled out for his grandma. Big win for the Ravens, obviously. They want to stay ahead of the Browns in the division. And the Chargers. The Chargers beat the Browns in one of the better offensive performances we had, 42-35. Justin Herbert has arrived. If you didn't know he had arrived, tune into football on Sunday. The Dolphin fans here are crying every week because they have Tua and not Herbert. Shit, the Bengals fans might be upset. They have Burrow and not Herbert. I'm still a big Burrow guy, so I don't think we're there yet. But Herbert has been unbelievable. The Ravens are coming off a Monday night. And I know everybody has the Chargers, and that always scares me. I never want to be with the masses. You always want to be a little different. Shout out to 2 Chainz. But for this game, I'm still going to go Chargers +2.5 at Baltimore. I think Baltimore is still dealing with some injuries. They're running back. They haven't entirely figured out that system. And look what they needed to beat the Colts last week. The Ravens have just underwhelmed me, where the Chargers have been so impressive. Yes, this could be a classic letdown game. They're starting to run away with that division, especially if the Chiefs can't get their shit together. But I'm going to go Chargers to beat the Ravens, or at least cover. I'd rather get the hook at 3.5. I don't know if it's going to get back to that number, unfortunately. Right now it's at 2.5. That's what I get for recording on a Friday. Still, give me the Chargers for my game of the week. And to finish it off, my teaser, which was a perfect 4-0. Mike Glennon, once again, I hate you. You threw a 7-yard, 8-yard comeback route when you were down 17. Like, what was that going to do for you? What was the point in making that play? Jason Garrett, I've hated you for so long. And it's because you designed shit like that. If you're going to try to get back in this game, Throw the fucking ball downfield. Why are we running 7-yard comeback routes that you know the corners are going to be waiting on because they want that touchdown? They want that splash play in a game that's completely over. They're going to take chances. So I saw myself getting fucked. There's nothing worse than knowing you're going to get fucked and then it happening. So Mike Glennon, Jason Garrett, JoJo, I hate all of you. But it is what it is. We rally this week. We go to 5-1. I have the Chiefs plus 3.5 traveling to Washington. God, the Chiefs need to win a game. Mahomes, obviously, with the turnovers. Buffalo looked unbelievable. And I think we've just seen the gap between Pat Mahomes and maybe the guys behind him, the Josh Allens, the Aaron Rodgers. Now we got Herbert, Murray, Lamar. We got all these guys kind of trying to get to Pat Mahomes. And the one thing that stood out is McCole Hardman is not a number 2 receiver. I think they missed Sammy Watkins a lot more than they expected. And Mahomes is running for his life. They spent all this money on this offensive line, traded for Orlando Brown, made these moves, and Mahomes is still running for his life. And we're not even at the worst part. Their defense is fucking awful. Like, I saw the picture of Sorensen, and I'm not old shaming, but my man looked 50, and he plays like he's 80. He's always 10 yards away from the other guy. Go sign like Trey Boston, who was still in the league last year, former Panther, who I think at least can be somewhat respectable playing the position. Daniel Sorensen is washed. It is over, dude. Get him off the field, please, for the love of God. I still like the Chiefs, plus 3.5. I haven't been blown away by Washington. They're 28th defensively in DVOA. That defense needs to get better. So I have Chiefs, plus 3.5. I have the Bears, who have gone all the way to plus 16. I know Aaron Rodgers does tend to have success against Chicago, but I'm getting 16 points. It's a divisional game. I do expect the Bears to somewhat be able to keep it close, and I will finish it off with the game I just discussed, the Chargers plus 12.5 at Baltimore. I just think that's too many points. I think the Chargers keep it competitive, and I would not be surprised if the Chargers came out and win this game. So I have the Chiefs plus 3.5, the Bears plus 16, and the Chargers plus 12.5 for my 3-team teaser. So now let's give you a recap. I have Browns, Rams, 2-team parlay money line, minus 110. Browns are taking on the surging Cardinals, have not lost this year. I expect the first loss in the Cliff Kingsbury Bowl. Baker versus Kyler. He coached both of them in college. He now obviously coaches Kyler in the NFL. Rams should have a very easy game against the Giants. I am taking the Rams again in my second pick. I have the Rams minus 6.5, buying it down from 8 with Alabama. Double result, half in game, meaning Alabama is up at halftime and wins the game outright. I just think an Alabama team, Nick Saban-led team, is going to come out and maul Mississippi State after a tough loss. And number 3, I have the Carolina Panthers, my boys, plus 2.5 at home against Minnesota. I think it's crazy how much action Minnesota is getting. They haven't shown me enough for me to see them that way. I think Carolina figures it out with Chuba. And we've been in these games. Darnold just has to limit the mistakes. We get Cam Irving back at left tackle. We get Eflin back at guard. So I think we'll look a lot better in terms of the offensive line. The pass rush has still been there. We have the best win rate in the trenches in the league. The issue is we've actually had a more difficult time these last couple of weeks actually getting to the quarterback. We are going to miss Shaq Thompson, but I like the points. For the key pick, as I mentioned, I'm taking the Chargers. If I had to, that's not one of my key games, but for the game of the week, I am going to go Chargers plus 2.5 at Baltimore. Baltimore had to play Monday, short rest, so I kind of like that. And for my teaser, the Chiefs to bounce back, plus 3.5 at Washington. The Bears, plus 16 at home in Soldier Field versus the Packers. And the Chargers, who I just mentioned, plus 12.5 at Baltimore. Let's rally. Let's come back. I'm still 10-5 against the spread on key picks. 3-2 picking the game of the week, and 4-1 on my teaser. So that's all a winning percentage. We're winning here. We're making money. Let's make some more. Hopefully I could finally pull out another 3-0 week like I did week 2. Let's stay hot. Get your action ready. It's gambling time. It's about to be football Sunday. Best time of the year. And I can't finish this without talking about my boys. The Red Sox did not just beat the Yankees. They go out and beat the Rays 3-1. And now we play the cheaters of all cheaters, the Houston Astros. Yes, you can bring up Alex Cora. He was on that staff, but he was not the ringleader, it doesn't seem like. And at this point, I guess it's even, right? So maybe they cheat, maybe we cheat, maybe nobody cheats, hopefully, ideally. And the Red Sox can handle business in the ALCS and get to their second World Series since, what was that, 2018? Then we had a couple of rough years, traded Mookie. And that would be an amazing storyline. I was listening to Bill Simmons this morning, and he mentions what it would be like if Mookie Betts, the guy who the Red Sox, for some inexplicable reason, traded for, cents on the dollar. Alex Verdugo has been great for us, but Mookie was the first Red Sox jersey I had bought in over a decade. I was a huge Mookie fan, so that would be awesome. Dodgers obviously had the big win against the Giants, so let's go Boston. Hopefully they can stay hot. Enjoy the picks. Mike will be back next week to give us his picks, hopefully better. He might go all in on giving us 3-player props instead of picking against the spread, because as of right now, that does not look like it is what he is strongest at. But he is great at drinking Red Bull. He is great at representing for our old high school, St. Peter's Prep, Young Alumni Award. Unbelievable. It's kind of weird that he gave himself the award, but he really did earn it. He earned it. He didn't give it to himself. Maybe he did. All right. We'll see you next week. Enjoy gambling. Let's go. Don't bet money you don't have unless you feel really good about it.
Right.
Then maybe it's okay.
That's good life advice, Raj.
Sanity ain't going my pace today. I can't even recall being these ways. To be honest, moving forward's all I'm seeing.